to me, I'll take your order, he say. Let me recommend our special. It's going like hot cake. It's called nationality. I love it, I say. Never heard this before. I'll take it out anyway. Feel a brother from my womb. Breathe on me one day. He said, research, study, and investigate. Spend 2 hours in a library. Truth there, I say. Nationality is the order of the day. Nationality is the order of the day.
Welcome. This is Moorish News, and I am your host, Moa D. Lavelle. Thank you for joining us today. I have today in the studio 2 guests. George Blakemore is my first guest. How are you, Mr. Blakemore? And thank you for coming to the show.
Oh, I'm elated, and I'm very happy to be on your show. When you gave me a call, I was ready to come because I love to communicate with my black brothers enslaved in America, and I'm just excited, and I'm so glad, and I'm looking forward to coming back to your show again.
Thank you so much, Mr. Blakemore. We love having you here today. And my second guest is the Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Grand Sheik Lionel Love Ill. Islam, Grand Sheik, how are you today?
Islam, I'm absolutely outstanding, Sheikhs. All praises are due to Allah, the Lord, Governor, Cherisher, Sustainer, and Ruler of the worlds, and we give hail and high honors to Marcus Garvey, the forerunner, and all true and divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, and Drew Ali. Islam.
Islam. Indeed, it is an honor to have Mr. Blakemore, a concerned citizen, and the Grand Sheik here on our show today, and giving thanks for all of you viewing this show, asking the great God to open up the way for you every day. Moorish News presents today the divine instructions from the Prophet, one supreme issue, freedom from mental and economic slavery, and how it all ties in into our earthly birthrights and divine salvation. Our show is going to go a little different today because we have so much before us and so much going on, and with this being October, the month of our convention, we are honored and we salute all of the Moors that are coming into the Chicagoland area, because truly it is a time to celebrate and be uplifted, for we have gone through much as a nation, and now all praise is due to the Father God. It's time for relief. There's a lot going on we want to cover, but before we get started, I want to read something out of our Holy Quran, which is chapter 25, a holy covenant for the Asiatic nation. A holy covenant of the Asiatic nation. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother has given you suck. Let the bonds of affection, therefore, unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thine own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father continue to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. And I want to have the Grand Sheik also to read out of the Holy Bible, a chapter, please. Thank you, Grand Sheik.
Islam. Today we will be reading from Psalms chapter 81. This is one of my favorite chapters. Okay. No, that's actually correction. It's Psalms 82. And it states, God stands in the congregation of the mighty. He judges among the gods. How long will you judge unjustly and show partiality to the wicked? Selah. Defend the poor and fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and needy. Deliver the poor and needy. Free them from the hand of the wicked. They do not know, nor do they understand. They walk about in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are unstable. I said, you are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. But you shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. Arise, O God, judge the earth, for you shall inherit all nations. I was going to read the opening, Sheikahs, for.
Thank you so much. After you can read the opening, I'm going to read 105, Surah 5, 105, and then we'll have the Grand Sheikh read the opening. O you who believe, take care of your souls. He who errs cannot hurt you when you are on the right way. To Allah is your return of all of you. So he will inform you of what you did. We're going to have the Grand Sheikh read the opening, and then we're going to get into our show with the current events. Thank you, Grand Sheikh.
Islam, this is from the Quran. Is one of the true and divine lessons. As stated within our authority, it states in part that to anoint and appoint and consecrate missionaries of the Prophet and to establish the faith of Muhammad in America. But this is deriving its power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad. And this is what we're reading from right now. The opening is just the Al-Fatiha. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Master of the Day of Judgment. Thee do we serve, and thee do we beseech for help. Keep us on the right path, the path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed favors, not of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor of those who go astray. Islam.
Islam, thank you very much, Grand Sheikh. We want to talk about that avalanche of lies that come in the form of European propaganda nowadays. And it continues with the sovereign citizen myth, so forth, so have you. And Mr. George Blakemore, I invited him here because Mr. Blakemore is a so-called citizen. I saw actively standing up because we all have rights. And if you do not stand up for your rights, you're presumed not to have any, of course. And the only way to rid ourselves of white supremacy is to stop referring to ourselves as the opposite, black and or its equivalent of Negro, colored, African American, Ethiopia, which puts forth the narrative of the so-called white man being God or the ruler of the land, while reducing those of us who identify as such as inferior. Now, Mr. Blakemore, I want you to speak on behalf of the avalanche of lies that are put out there about our people and how we're perceived in our community, and yet the so-called black leaders, the Moorish leaders that have been put up front, don't really fight for us as they should. Can you talk about that briefly, Mr. Blakemore?
Yes. The so-called black leadership, they realize that the white man have got something that they call a sanctuary, and it's dividing the nation. A sanctuary for people that do not obey the laws of the land with immigration and naturalization laws, not citizens. These people come to this country to compete with the original black, the Moorish people, the original man that was enslaved in America. They come in and get jobs, goods, contracts, and services. And they're now moving into the neighborhoods. And what's happening is ethnic cleansing. getting rid of black people from the urban plantation and reservations that we are on in America. So I was excited when I met those two nice people, and we have so much in common. They are fighting the same thing for what I'm fighting for. They're fighting for people. Oh, look over here. They're fighting for the original black man. And so-called black leadership is quiet. The question is, why are they quiet? Are they our leaders? Are they misleading us? Carter G. Woodson says the miseducation of the black man. Why would they be silent? Why?
Why?
Yes, now that's the big question. Why are they silent, allowing this to happen? Dr. King said, silence is betrayal. If you see an injustice and you don't say anything about it, you're enabling that crime. That's a criminal act. But when black people was on doing rock, cocaine in the neighborhood, they lock them up, give them all kind of sentences, and keep them forever. Now, since the whites are doing drugs, they say don't lock them up. It's a health problem. Well, why wasn't it a health problem for the black man, the original black man?
The Moors. That's right.
The Moors. So we have to even start calling us ourselves what we are. They educated me. They say don't use the word black man, Moors. You are the original man of the world, Islam. So I'm not too old to learn. I'm not too old to learn. So I'm appalled to what's happening with our people here. The Jews would never let that happen with Holocaust. They always refer back to Holocaust. And then if one of these Nazis kill somebody, they go to Australia, they go to wherever they go, Argentina, change their name, and they're 80 years old. The Jews have some dogs smelling them out, and they're going to kill them and bring them to justice.
Absolutely.
So it's not what happened to black people in slavery.
I'm so-called blacks. That's right. Come on now, Blakemore.
We can't forget where we come from.
We sure can.
We can't forget who we are. So we have to make everybody accountable. Our so-called black leadership too. Why are we Moorish people, black people? But why are you so-called putting these political hacks back in office and they're not representing you at all?
Thank you so much, Mr. Blakemore, because what you are saying holds truth, and I stand on it with you, Mr. Blakemore.
Thank you.
Grand Sheik, Mr. Blakemore hit on a lot with the so-called, dealing with the sanctuary.
Yeah.
And I want you to take that same subject matter, Grand Sheik, and I want you to speak on what Mr. Blakemore is talking about already, this so-called sanctuary. Why aren't our leaders standing up? And why is this situation growing worse when we already understand that every other nation would never allow such an act to occur? Not here in America on this soil.
Islam, this goes into the above statements that the Prophet referred to when he was referring to the 14th and 15th Amendments not being applicable for our salvation as a nation of people. See, part of the issue is that we're going through what is known as political slavery. We're suffering through political slavery because our people have not recognized the fact that we have been disenfranchised, and suffrage becomes the main issue. We need to have Moorish senators, Moorish mayors, a Moorish president, Moorish representation in all facets of life and political life. There are no ills and bays that are representing our interests. So therefore, there have been no initiatives put forth. Usually what occurs is big time corporations, they have lobbyists that will appeal to the different senators and the different lawmakers and congressmen, and they are paid and they give them favors and they offer them all types of gifts and things of that nature. So it's patronage over justice, pretty much. And this is what's been going on. This has been an endless cycle where we have been getting the drop-offs and the crumbs. So what I want to do is I want to read this piece that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali stipulated about, and he pointed out the effects of political slavery. And this was written Friday, February 19th, 1929. Any time a man or a woman fails or refuses to cast a sacred ballot at the polls, they separate themselves from all rights of an American citizen. For surely this is one connecting medium for a citizen to his nation. They become no more than belated beasts of burdens. There are reasons why certain classes who are more or less independent take no part in politics, since they say they get nothing out of such in the way of material gain. This is no less than a political slave, since they refuse to voice their sentiments at the polls. Another form of political slavery, which is probably more prevalent among the less independent classes, is that of being forced into one of the major parties and there bribed, coerced, or otherwise forced to vote the wishes of someone else regardless of their own minds. Before there can be general relief for the economic good of all forms of political slavery must be abolished, and every citizen must take his part in the affairs of the nation. I believe that echoes the sentiments of Brother Blakemore when he said that everybody needs to be held accountable.
Absolutely.
That's
Political
true.
slavery must be abolished. And right now, it's only fair that everyone be held accountable. And
But
if
what I would like to say that the reason is this political slavery is sellout. They're selling our people out for some pieces of gold, like Jews did. They're sellout. This is why our so-called black leadership. This is why they're prostitutes. They instead of prostitute their own bodies, they are prostitute our people. They're for this, for the Yankee dollar, for the president, for these big head white presidents. They're selling us out. You can look at our communities. You can see everybody's coming over in our community and prospering. Well, why can't we prosper? And they're moving us out. That's called genocide. We're going to have to get rid of them.
But they call it regentrification, right?
Regentrification.
That's what they try to call it.
Urban removal, not renewal. They are building here. This country is rich. This city is rich. You can see everywhere. Everywhere these cranes going up. All on the Fulton Market, all on the north side.
That's
now, our land is valuable in the ghetto. So now they're coming to take that. So somebody is not working in the interest of the so-called black man. And you know why they're not? Because they're getting paid
that is
money.
true, that is true.
They are
And I bear
whores,
witness to
prostitutes.
that. You know what?
Black whores and prostitutes.
And that's a price to pay. Thank you so much,
Yes,
Mr. Blakemore.
yes.
Because somebody ought to say it.
Yes.
Somebody needs to say it.
Yes.
And it's time that it be said, because
Yes.
for too long, too many of us has been dying. Take for instance,
Yes.
let's fast forward back
Okay.
before the Kanika Jenkins situation. First,
right.
I'd like to say that, with all due respect, I would like to send love and strength to the Jenkins family. I have held my peace and I have been silent because I know how it feels to lose a child, a loved one. And there's many of us that can identify with that. But this is what I'm concerned about, rewinding backwards. Before the Jenkins family, we all as a nation had to mourn Sister Jenkins' daughter. There was earthquakes, volcanoes, forest fires, hurricanes. Take out the volcanoes, the SETC, you can expect it. But the hurricanes, the forest fires, and of course, the earthquakes, they were all occurring at the same time. Early September, just go back a minute and think about it. All at the same time, the world was coming from the south. The world was in turmoil. And then the Father God brought this situation before us because it could not occur without the spirit realm allowing it to, because Allah guides the destiny of this world, we understand. And all of the hearts in America focused on Kanika Jenkins. And now, may the sister rest in peace. May Allah grant the family and the hearts of our nation. May Allah soothe it with a comforter. Because I saw the pain riding the buses. I saw the youth, the fear at the beaches, at the parks, how they all were united. That sister did something for us, something great. She united us. She set up our antennas of alertness to watch out. I saw how the brothers were being protective over the sisters. They knew where you going. Your mother know who's with you. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about what really occurred. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the truth, because we all were touched by the incident. But let's talk about what the investigation brought up, because it's not over until we solve it. And what we all should be wondering now is, yeah, it's a possibility that someone was paid, but what about the justice? Because justice has to be attached to not only the sister Kanika Jenkins, but the sister Sandra Bland and everybody else attached to it. Because there's no justice. We see the checks, we see the cash, but there's no justice.
That's right.
And
where there's no justice, no peace.
No peace, no justice. No justice, no peace. Thank you very much, Mr. Blakemore.
Yes.
I want to go into that, and I also want to go into an event, breaking news that just occurred yesterday. And may the great God soothe the hearts of all the victims in the Vegas, Nevada, Las Vegas incident. Because there should be no reason why anyone should have to lose their life unjustly. But we need to understand one thing, that we're all connected. And as you mentioned, Mr. Blakemore, about the Holocaust.
Yes.
Time is an illusion, first of all. Time shouldn't be a factor in finding out whether or not justice is going to reign.
Yes.
We have to
have some justice.
Deal with things on the table. Grand Sheikh, I want you to talk about justice as far as what the Prophet said, what Allah said, as far as the media. Because see, in order to have justice, you got to have a form of media.
That's right.
And our papers and our media is really the only hope of shoveling ourselves from up under that avalanche of lies that's annually being loosed upon us.
Yes.
So we understand KNTV is a perfect forum for us to be able to get the truth out there. And it's so important for us to get the truth out there. I want you to go into that avalanche of lies and what it is that's needed, in fact, Grand Sheikh, so that the press can be brought forth and we can get the truth out as far as our nationality and our people and what's going on in the world. Then, Mr. Blakemore, I want you to come in after the Grand Sheikh has talked about what it is that we must do.
Islam. Well, the press is our greatest weapon right now. And in fact, with the advent of social media, we're seeing that a lot of information, like if I hear about something breaking, I would probably go to the internet or go to my phone or go to some type of social media or Google it or something before I would go to purchase a newspaper or to watch the news. It's almost like the news of today is almost like secondhand. And you know, if you really need to get to information in real time, then the internet is accessible. Then you have YouTube, you have Facebook, you have Google Plus or whatever medium, Instagram, that one chooses, or even Twitter. All right. So I just want to impress on the fact that the Prophet Noble Ali, one of the things that he did is he set it up for us to have our own press, our own media. And this is part of the reason why this administration has taken the initiative to bring the information to the public. And this has basically been on our own dime. OK, so we sincerely need the support of all of the people who have been benefiting from this information so that we can continue to bring you the truth unadulterated and pure. what we have to offer is the truth unadulterated. It's just like with the Matrix movie, the red pill or the blue pill. See, what occurs is we have, like Mr. Blakemore mentioned, we have been sold out. And as a matter of fact, this goes back during the time of the prophet. You know, he came setting forth many truths. He explained to us about the fact that the 14th and the 15th Amendment is not applicable to our situation. Now, in this present day and time, when we decide to go and follow through with the prophet, we're seeing things like the sovereign citizen nonsense being thrust upon us as if this is something that is relevant, when in actuality, there's no such thing as a sovereign citizen proper. But there are free national citizens, of which the so-called Negroes, black folks, colored people, African Americans are in their natural state and status.
I thank you so much, Grand Sheik, because I want you to go into that next. Before you go into that, I want Mr. Blakemore to talk about the fact that we have, where you just left off at, as far as we need our own newspapers, because the internet, it gives you a lot of information. You got millions of people, all type of information, and also dealing with the sister Kanika Jenkins. I saw how the youth was talking about body parts being sold, and the owner of the hotel having some kind of connection to this corporation or some building nearby, and this is why having a newspaper is so important, because you can get down to the nitty gritty of what's really going on. Because I know that I would want to know everything about everything. In fact, I would want the hotel to be basically closed down, and you take it from the basement all the way up, however long. In fact, the day that she came up missing, that should have occurred. But this is what you have when you don't have full control of the media. You get bits, you get pieces, and then you get a real big fat check at the end. I want you to talk about that.
Yes. I'm glad you brought up. This is very important. Years ago, they had the black hat press. They had the Defenders, and they had the Voice of the People, the WVON, and the Defenders gone, and they're not doing their job, and WVON is not doing its job. They say they're sellouts too. See, our people sell out. This is not about a family, which you did. We do mourn for the family and the loss of that life.
That's right.
But this is about all black people's life, the nation.
That's right.
If you won, they kill one, they'll come for all of us. It's not over.
That's
Whoever if the mother got some money, that's on her. But I'm affected by psychological, emotional, and other people.
Millions.
I want to know the story behind this. I want it investigated, and if it's any criminal act, these people should be put in jail or electrocuted. Black lives matter. Jewish lives matter. Don't care if we're doing Nazi time. They go and hunt them down if it's 50 years later and make them pay. Somebody got to pay for this, and paying off is not enough.
It's not enough.
And they're saying it's over now. It's not over. I'm still suffering. When I just my thought, actually,
Traumatized.
What traumatized? What happened to that young lady? What happened?
Really happened to her?
And if there's a rumor that body part investigated, find out exactly, well, why did they pay the mother off so quickly? And they say it's the end. It's not the end.
It's just the beginning.
It's just the beginning. This has been happening to black people ever since they got off the boat.
That's right.
Ever since they got off the boat. They want us to get over it. Slavery is over. We've been traumatized by slavery.
Yes, we have.
And the legacy is still going on. You got to be a slave mentality when you're elected official and sell your people out for $1. Something is wrong with that man.
That's right. Mental slavery.
We supposed to be freeing our people, helping our people to rise and fly and overcome this holocaust that have happened to us.
That's
This is our job as Moorish people. The Quran, the Bible, all teaches that we are the original man and woman, and we got to free ourselves. Something drastic have happened to the black man in America.
The so-called
Islam.
The so-called black man.
He's so-called black.
Thank you
He's
for
so-called.
correcting
That's right.
me.
That's
The
okay.
so-called black man.
Something has
Correct me.
occurred. Mr. Blakemore,
Something-
you are
correct me.
absolutely right. Something has occurred.
Yeah, right
For
up
you to
here.
sit down and
And-
allow
and-
the women and the children to hurt
Be abused.
and be misused,
Misused.
molested.
That's right.
and raped
Raped.
in front of your face.
Yes.
For $1?
Yes.
I think not.
Well, I got a sentence for this, not to cut the wisdom of the,
Well, come on
of
with
the
it,
pal.
Grand Sheik.
The
Let's
prophet
just do
spoke
it.
towards this issue. He said, those who fail to recognize the free national name
That's right.
of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. This is what our people have been going through. This is part of the reason why our people have been coming up missing, and you have no responses, you have no answers as far as where they went. This is part of the reason why our people's organs has been harvested. This is part of the reason why our people are not looked at as being human beings, because we have failed. See, this is not something we can put on anybody else.
Okay.
We have failed
We
Thank
failed.
you.
to
We
recognize
failed.
the free national name
Yeah.
of our constitutional government, which
We
is
failed.
Moorish.
See, we got to
See,
stop
we
the
have
blackness.
we have to stop referring to ourselves as Negroes,
We have to.
colored folks, black people, Ethiopians, because
Moorish.
if you don't, you're going to be continuously classed as undesirable, just as the same way they refer to our people when they're doing Hurricane Katrina as refugees.
Refugees.
The same terminology
Yeah,
that they
yeah.
use.
We
And then
not
it
no
said,
refugees.
right,
Not.
and then it says subject to all inferior names. Inferior name. Black is inferior to white. When you call yourself black, you calling yourself inferior, and you call him white, you calling him God, ruler of the land. He is not. He's a European. Okay? And then are subject to all inferior names, abuses, and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And this is really sickening to my heart and soul, because you have foreigners coming over here to attain a status of citizenship. And just like you said with the sanctuary cities, and some of them are not even here legally.
That's
okay?
right.
And they get the one up on us, and they treat us with disrespect.
Yes.
You get disrespected in your own house.
Yes.
These people come up in your backyard,
Right.
and they come up quicker than you ever could.
Yes.
In your own house, you don't
Yes.
get respect from foreigners that come over here.
That's right.
And you are classed as, now listen to this, class, that means that you're put in a position. You are classed as undesirable and subject to
Untouchable,
all inferior
like they did
names
in
and
India.
abuses and mistreatments. All this stuff go together. The inferior names go with the abuses and mistreatments. The abuses and mistreatments is what we're seeing occurring to our people.
That's right.
When they coming up missing, when they coming up dead, when they get shot in the streets, murdered in cold blood,
16
and nobody is answering to that. Nobody is stepping up and
That's
saying, "Hey,
right.
I'm accountable."
That's
Let's
right.
start with that.
That's
The prophet
right.
spoke
That's
towards
right.
this, and we have
That's
all
right.
these sellouts that
That's
are not
right.
teaching you
That's right.
the truth about your
That's right
nationality and
now.
birthrights, so that you continue to be a victim.
That's
Islam,
right.
free
Islam.
national citizens. Let's talk about the free national citizens versus the sovereign citizens. Because we hear a lot about sovereign citizens, but to be a free national citizen is a great thing. Let's talk about that free national citizen versus sovereign citizen. Because right now, we are free national citizens, but the sovereign citizen situation that's being brought in upon us is causing many to go to jail. So now what we need to do, we need to talk about the difference between that free national citizen versus the sovereign citizen.
The free national Islam Sheikh is the free national citizen is the Moorish American Muslim in his natural state. All American citizens, it's just like it says, this is the divine warning from the prophet for the nations. And this is what I'm reading from. It says, and the first sentence addresses that. It says, the citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution, are all of one family,
One family.
bearing one free national name. So it's not going to be a situation where you see totally different names for one nation. The Mexicans are the Mexicans. They're not some other nickname. Just like it's the same thing for the Moorish Americans. It ain't no situation where you black one week and next week you're colored and the next week you're a Negro. All these are terms that allude to slavery, and they have never done our people any good. This is also part of the issue when you're dealing with the 14th and the 15th Amendments not being applicable to our situation as a people. And you have all of these sellouts that are in office that are taking bribes to maintain
The lie.
the lie that you are under the 14th and 15th Amendment. And all these tactics, and I want to read something to the people that speaks towards how we're supposed to deal with, and there's a set of protocols for how we are supposed to come out and teach and educate the people. We're not exempt from telling the truth.
Before you go into that, Grand Sheik, thank you very much, and I do want you to read that. I would like to extend a warm introduction to our brothers and sisters out there all over the world and country, because if never before we needed you. We need you now. As the Grand Sheik read, we are one family. We all are one family. Now listen at this. The Egyptians, who were the Hamathites and of a direct descendant of Mizraim. My family, my people, we need you now. The Arabians, the seed of Hagar, we are in need of your support now. Japanese and Chinese brothers and sisters, we are in need of your support now. The Hindus of India, the descendants of the ancient Canaanite Hittites and Moabites from the land of Canaan, that holy land, all of our brothers and sisters there, we're in need of your help today, now. The Asiatic nations and countries in North, South, and Central America, the Moorish Americans and Mexicans in North, South, and Central America. Brazilians, we need you, brothers and sisters. Argentinians and Chileans in South America. We are all the same people, one family, and we are calling in the name of our mother who has given us all one breast, and the Father, the creator of the oxygen and this planet we walk on. We are calling on you in that name, brothers and sisters, and the natives of San Salvador and Central America, etc. All of these are Muslims.
Islam.
And that is why we're calling on all of our people. All of the people, we are calling on you because you are our people and we need you now. So for the record, on the record, let the record show that even the Turks, who are the true descendants of Hagar, who are the chief protectors of Islam, know that it is a time for everything and we are all connected, and our people are in need of support from all of our brothers and sisters. We are dying in the streets. We are in need of love. So for the record, on the record, I want to thank my guests. I want to thank my team, Brother Carl. I also want to thank my captain of everything back there, Brother Allen. And I want to thank the Father for giving us the breath of life today to be here, to be able to do what we are doing. And I just like to say that without the support of the viewers, there wouldn't be a KN TV. And I want to thank all of the viewers here in metropolitan Chicago, wherever you are and whoever you are, for viewing this show. Because what we have for you is love. And this is the convention month. So I need everyone to know it's time for you to realize that if there is going to be a great gala, it's going to be because we all are going to roll our sleeves up together and we're going to do what's necessary. And that's put our hearts in our hand and extend our hand to hold each other's hand, brothers, so that this can be a success. Because right now, we are one and love is in our hearts, and love's going to conquer this. See, we already know that Love has already opened up the way, and that beast's head was taken off in 1453 Byzantine. So we're prepared for the earthquakes. Thank you, brothers. And we're prepared for the hurricanes. And we have to prepare ourselves by getting that 90 days of food and water, everyone. Because don't believe me, do your own research. Listen to your leaders, your so-called leaders, your sheiks, your sheikesses, your pastors, your sheikhs, your imams, whoever it is. Please know that the time has come that if we don't have what we need released on this land, which is truly the land of the Moors, that the earthquakes will be visiting. Chicago, yes, Chicago, Illinois. The best is being saved for last. Do I want to see my city destroyed? No way. This is why I am calling out in the spirit of the angels that are sitting on the four corners of the earth, asking for justice to be done to the so-called Negro, Black, Colored, and African American here on these shores. Enough blood has filled the street, but we understand the blood is going to rise up to the horse's eyebrow. We want to talk about the tactics of COINTELPRO and the dirty Moors and how to identify and avoid them. That's what we want to talk about right now.
Islam. Going right into the subject
After
matter,
you
Sheikahs.
read, after
Well,
the
this
reading,
is the reading.
brother,
This is what this addresses because
Okay.
Act 4, it states all members, while up making in public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. You see, the Prophet Noble Ali understood that there will be tactics utilized to deter us from the real issues that are being brought to bear with regards to our salvation as a nation of people. One of the things that I wanted to read with regards to what's been going on with regards to us being sold out, because see, it's not just so-called blacks that are selling us out. There's also ones that are wearing fezzes and turbans that are selling us out as well. So I want to read proof and I want to read information with regards to that. And this is how you will be able to identify. This is just some of the ways. I'm going to get into a few more points because I did make a few notes with regards to that. But we're going to read this, and it says, I'm going to start with the names. It says, E. Leal, Jackson Bay, Lovett Bay, McAldriff Bay, and Foreman Bay, C. Kirkman Bay, and others acting with them, wandered away from the rules and usages of such Moorish Science Temple of America, a religious corporation, and commenced to teach military training and other innovations, established insurance where stock was sold, added the office of Supreme Grand Advisor, Grand Governor, Grand Treasurer, Grand Recording Secretary, and other offices, ceased to hold monthly meetings of the Adept Chamber, where an accounting of the money taken in from the various taxes, sale of the corporation's stock of supplies were made, changed the date of holding the yearly national convention from the 15th to the 20th days of October in each calendar year to from the 15th to the 20th day of September in each calendar year. Now, I'm reading from document 11551822, and this is a document that was actually brought to light by this administration. The only reason why there are Moors out there that are celebrating during the 15th and the 20th of October like we're supposed to is because this information was brought to light by this administration. So the September date is the date that most people are still following. And this has been stated because of a letter. Now, this is a letter, I don't know how official this letter is.
The letter is not official. Because the reason the letter is not official is because the Prophets Convention initially is October 15th to the 20th, and there's a picture for all to see. Now, if you guys have enough heart to disrespect a holy prophet, divinely and prepared and sent by the great God, the Father of this universe, without his signature being on the letter, then you have to deal with that in your spirit and your soul with the great God, because trust and believe, the truth is here, and it has been documented, as the Grand Sheik has read. And to bring justice to it, justice shall be ill who, after being after first being duly sworn according to law, disposes and says that immediately after the passing away of the Prophet Noble Jew Ali, founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America, a religious corporation organized at a meeting in the city of Chicago in the county of Cook in the state of Illinois on the 20th day of July, AD 1928. After this man passed, our holy and divine prophet, they went and changed the date of the convention. That's sad. I dare you to try and change the date of the Holocaust or any other great day. I dare you. But praise Allah, and all praises due to his holy and divine prophet that he sent. This brother was sent to give us something very precious, our nationality and the keys to our vast estate. So at the end of the day, Moors, you are plain rich. Mr. Blakemore, you are plain rich. Please tell all of our people they are plain rich and that they are not Negroes, blacks, colors, or African American, that they have a nationality in the name.
Yes.
And Mr. Blakemore, before I let the Grand Sheik speak, because he's going to probably close the show out, I want you to have a few words, heartfelt words of, you know, because I know you've been a soldier and you've been out here on front and center, standing up for our nation of people. But what I want you to share before the audience and the millions of people that are going to see you, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere we can put it at, because it's time for our people to wake up. Mr. Blakemore, I want you to let the people know a little bit about you and why you do what you do. Because you don't have to do this, Mr. Blakemore, and we don't have to do this. But what motivates you to stand up for the people, God's people, Mr. Blakemore?
Well, one of my biggest motivation is from history, studying the Moorish history and how people was enslaved in America and what we have gone through. And we are one people throughout the diaspora. You said in India they're Moorish, in South America, in Asia, and Africa, we're one people. And
Islam.
That's suffering. We're suffering all over the diaspora of the world because we have to recognize who we are and where we are. And we have enemies, and that enemies are Satan. And some of the enemies look just like us. And I have compassion for my people because I love me. And it is a connection. I'm not disconnected with black people because I know how I've been treated in America. I know how my people have been treated in Africa, how they're being treated in India, how they've been treated in South America, in the Caribbean. It's a worldwide thing.
Come on now.
It's a worldwide thing, and it's all about color. I can't believe that over in India they have many black people, and the white Indians think that from India think they're better than the black ones. And the egregious thing is that some Moorish people, some people of this dark hue hate themselves and love somebody else. This is by loving us. You got to love yourself.
That's right.
And then when I see a black man being abused, I'm being abused. I've been abused. And that motivates me to try to help other people, bring love to them. Because some black, or so-called the more some black, are mean to each other. We have to love ourselves, and don't be ashamed to love your hair.
That's right.
Don't be ashamed to love your nose and your body. God made you. He made you equal, and matter of fact, he might have made you superior since you're the original man. So you got to love yourself. So it goes back deep. It goes back deep,
Mr. Blakemore, I love you.
Real deep when you see our sisters with that long hair today. Some of them still bleach. They don't love themselves. And like you telling me, hey, Mr. Blakemore, you have to stop calling yourself black. You're Moorish people.
That's right.
That's where you from. That's who you are.
That's right.
And it's something with a name.
That's right. Power.
It's power in a name.
That's it.
Islam.
It's power in a name.
It is, brother.
Islam.
It is.
And they know that. So they use our people.
Mr. Blakemore,
They
we
use,
gotta do another show.
They use our people with the money and all of that to miseducate us, to mislead us.
Yes,
They don't want us to come into our true existence, our true self, because God gave us everything we need. The Moorish people, everything they need. All we have to do is know how to use what God gave us.
Thank you so much, Mr. Blakemore.
Oh, yes.
We are going to learn how to use what God has given us.
God given you everything.
God gave us all we need.
That's
we got
right.
it all inside the shell. We
That's
came
right.
with Grand
Thank
Chic,
you.
take us on.
I got one more point to
Thank you
make.
so much, Mr. Blakemore.
When you proclaim your nationality, there are several things that open up to you. We are interested in freeing ourselves and our children from the greatest plight, economic slavery. We believe this can be best done by encouraging, patronizing, and establishing our own business enterprises and cultivating our own acres of land.
That's right.
You are not going to be allowed to do that as a Negro, colored, Black, African American, Afro-American, Islam.
That's right.
It's got to be more. Got to be more shared.
I love you all.
That's right.
I thank my guests, Mr. Blakemore, Grand Chic, Lionel Loville, the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Body Politic. And I want to thank all of my viewers for taking the time out to share your love.
Thank you for watching
We
us.
love you.
Thank you.
We need
Love.
you. We're asking you to join us in this national convention. Send your love, send your energy, and most of all, send your hearts. Because without love, we're nothing. We're nobody.
That's right.
And together, we all stand. I want to thank the great God once again. All praises due to the Grand Sheik and my guest,
All
Mr.
praises due to
Blakemore.
Allah.
All praises due to Allah. Pardon me.
We
Let me
honor.
clean
We
that
take
up.
the honors.
Hey, you are honorable, brother, but I give honors to the great God, the Father of the universe. I'm a little excited. You know, Mr. Blakemore and the
praises
Sheik
to
got
Allah,
me
and we
really
get honors.
charged
I'll take the honors,
because,
sir.
you know, it's so much blood being spilled in the streets in my own neighborhood, you know, just all over the world. And I want to send love out to all of those that are, you know, mourning. May your hearts be lifted up. May God bless you to protect yourselves and the rest of your family. And may we all, as true American citizens, unite to help change the plight of our world today. Together we can do it.
That's right.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
And love
And
forever.
love.
Peace and love forever.
Love thyself.
Peace and love.
Thank you.
Please love yourself.
Walked up to me, I'll take your order. He say, let me recommend our special. And it's called like hotcakes. It's called nationality. I say, and you love it. I say, heard of this before. I'll check it out anyway. Till a brother from my womb breathe on me one day. He said, research, study, and investigate. Spent 2 hours in a library. Truth there, I say, nationality is the order of the day. Nationality is the order of the day.
To Moorish